Hey man, okay, so I'm too lazy to go back and watch your videos right now, just considering that I need to go work out, take a shower, because as you can see, I'm greasy as ever. Yeah, work out, take a shower, do a lab for biology, do something for history, um, and on top of that, I got a lot of other stuff to do. But to answer your question, what religion are you? Perhaps you lack religion. Perhaps you're kind of like, I wouldn't say agnostic because I'm too lazy, like I said, to watch your other videos and see what you think about God. But perhaps you were like kind of like I am, or kind of like I was, where it's like you believe there's something, you can kind of feel something, but you don't know what it is. To me, I found out that what I thought was God was my conscience, and kind of what I felt was simply love. Everything that like made me feel good, that was simply love. And some would say, well, love is comes from God. Well, I don't know that. I think that love on its own suffices. Do you understand what I mean? Like, sort of that thing inside of me was the part of me that kept me going, the part of me that loved, the part of me that had emotions, had the ability to feel. I think it's perfectly. Science could not explain the way it feels, but science could describe why it happens, but it can't describe the feeling. It can't explain the feeling. Do you understand what I mean? I mean, because there is something you can feel that science can't explain, but I don't think that's necessarily God. So, if you consider that to be God, perhaps you're a pantheist, or if you think that that feeling itself is God. Like, I'm an atheist, but I mean, like, I could say something pantheistic, uh, like love is God, not the other way around. That's always something that I've liked to. That's something that I've recently liked to say, as you know, as an atheist. By the way, pantheism is basically like an atheism, but you use um, God as like a metaphor for something beautiful. And so, for me, pantheism is confusing, but perhaps you have pantheistic ideas when you talk about God. Perhaps you're more of just one of those spiritual but not religious people. Kind of like maybe something to do with Eastern philosophy, kind of one with yourself. But I think until you figure out a name, I would go with spiritual but not religious. And that could mean theistically or atheistically. And that could mean, I mean, it's like, that could kind of be agnostic too, meaning like you might believe in God, but you don't believe in what a lot of people consider to be God. You don't believe in a deity, but you believe in a God, as in there's something there, some sort of spiritual plane or force, because that's what I used to believe. As for a spiritual plane or force, like I said, I found out to myself that's just love. There's no outside force, there's no God. It's just love. That's it. And to me, love is sufficient. Nature, the beauty in nature is sufficient. And so I don't need any deity to appreciate the wonder of this universe and this world and be grateful for every piece of it. I don't need a deity to do that. I can be grateful for nature in itself. I can be grateful for the feeling of love in itself without having any sort of god or deity. So, I mean, that's just me. So, I guess it depends on whether you believe in God, um, and what you believe outside of God. But I would say a lot of times the best way to describe it would be, if you're not sure of the existence of God, that's agnostic. If you believe in a God, that's theistic. If you don't believe in God and you think the chance of a God existing is very unlikely, that's what I believe. That's atheist, and yeah, that's just what I found about spirituality. Not so much religion, because religion does imply something negative. So for me, I lack religion because I'm an atheist, but I lack religion. And I think for you, decide whether you're atheistic or theistic, and if it's somewhere in between, or if it's kind of like you don't believe in the traditional idea of God, or it's kind of like you believe in something but you don't think it's God necessarily. I think that the best range to put anything else in would just be agnostic. And I guess you don't need a title. Just say just spiritual but not religious. Like, I think that that's a perfectly fine way to be. And even though I'm atheistic, or I hold atheistic beliefs, I'm still consider myself a very spiritual person. And you seem like a very spiritual person yourself too. So, peace, bro. Spike here. I'm out.